This video is brought to you by my website, aeroparts.com. High quality, genuine part. Now hold on a second, I know you want to start skipping through the video, but don't. I actually packed this video with as much information as I possibly could, so it's going to move fast. I also designed the video to be paused, so get ready to pause the video if you see some information that you need. I'm going to go over this job in 3 simple steps. 1, the location of the leak. Where are you typically going to see coolant coming from when these things go out? 2, the type of parts that you'll need, the sizes, the differences between the left and the right one, which are very slight, but there are differences, how to remove and install those parts, obviously. And 3, what can go wrong and how to prepare for that. First things first is the location of the leak. These things are going to and from the heater core. You'll typically see that coolant dripping around the stabilizer / sway bar as long as you're not parked on a hill or an incline or something like that. It can also leak coolant right onto the ignition coil underneath it, which can cause a misfire and even damage the ignition coil. This Tahoe, however, didn't have a misfire, but it's something to keep in mind. Now for the parts that you'll need. These are heater hose connectors. You'll see heater hose auxiliary connector, you'll see heater auxiliary connector, heater hose fitting, but heater hose connectors is what they are. They're these 90-degree plastic fittings with a little rubber gasket inside of them that connect the hoses to the heater core. Now there is a difference between the two of these parts. The driver's, or the left-hand side, is generally eggshell white in color and 111 millimeters long, while the right-hand or passenger side is usually black and 113 millimeters long. I also want to note that the right-hand or passenger side connector, the black one, has a slightly less than 90-degree angle, while the other side is perfectly 90 degrees. That will help you differentiate the two of them because most of the brands have different colors to distinguish the difference between the two, except some economy brands who make them the same color, making it difficult to tell the difference between the two of these. I also recommend replacing something that I didn't replace on this vehicle, and that is the heater inlet and outlet hoses. The fittings are part of these hoses and you can easily damage them. I'm going to show you how to not damage them, but it's easy to damage them. There are fittings that you can buy, metal or plastic, where you can actually improve this design here and prepare for accidentally damaging one of these parts. Those fittings, or heater outlet fittings is what they're called, will connect right up to your heater hose connectors, and you can actually cut your heater hoses and connect them to your heater outlet fittings with a clamp like any other normal coolant hose would actually get connected to something. Now to remove these plastic connectors, all you got to do is squeeze these two inwards and just remove it. Of course, it's easier said than done. It's much harder to do it in person, and I fought with it for quite a while. I actually recommend the Lyle 39190 quick disconnect tool just for these. That makes it 100 times easier to do it. Now without that tool, you will be fighting this for quite a while. In fact, you can even see fast forwarded footage of me fighting it for quite a while actually. I didn't get these off that easy. I eventually did end up getting them off by squeezing them and pulling them, but it took a lot of finessing. I ended up actually breaking some of those tabs as well. I'll show you right here how I ended up breaking them with a flathead screwdriver, but just be careful when working around here. That leads me over to step number 3. What can go wrong? Well, I actually recommend replacing these hoses. And I kind of partially covered it in step number 2, but you don't want to break these tabs right here because you're going to need to reuse them. You see, those locking tabs are part of the hose assemblies. You can transfer them over to your new coolant connectors, but you have to be careful because as you're trying to get these things off, they are fairly easy to damage. Now, they are stronger than you would imagine for plastic connectors, but remember, these things hold very well. And I don't think that they're really designed to come off, even though I was able to get them off like you see in this clip. If you did actually damage them, there is another video that I'm going to recommend. It's in the description below. It's not a video of mine, it's another video. I'm spreading the love here on YouTube here. It's a fantastic video on what to do, how to reuse these hoses without the connectors if they were broken. And here's some more footage of those connectors that you want to save.
Got it. It did not break. But you got to be careful with it. We need to preserve these because these are going to get reused. Unless, obviously, you're replacing these two hoses right here.
And so we want to make sure that we don't break those as we remove the coolant connectors. Once those coolant connectors are off, we're going to clean the surface and then we're going to start transferring over those clips over from the old connectors to the new connectors. Now here's the thing, this is a personal opinion. I don't really think these things were designed to be transferred over and reused. You can do it, but just be very careful with them because you can damage them. They are quite strong. These were 14 years old and they held up very, very well. And they are designed for cooling systems, but you just want to be careful with them. Now I use a little pick to pull the locking tab off of the plastic seat, and I use the flathead screwdriver to slowly walk it off of the plastic seat so I can get it and pull it right off. It doesn't come off as easy, it doesn't slide off as easy as you would hope it does, but it does come off. Just be careful when you're removing that. You can put some oil or grease to help you get it off. It's not a bad idea. I didn't use any of that here and I was able to get it off. Now putting it back on is very simple. You just push them into place. That's why they're called quick connectors. When they lock into place, make sure to give it a little tug to make sure that both locking tabs lock into place.
That's a very satisfying click. We're all good here.
Now I'll save you some of the rest of the boring parts of this. All of them went into place perfectly except for one. This last one here that I'm working on, only one of the locking tabs went into place and I was able to just pull the hose right off. So you have to double check your work here. I had to finesse it a little bit to get both of those locking tabs into place, but I was able to get it, so just double check your work here.
It does go in. It's just what a pain. The recommendation. There we go. Okay, well, we got it.
And that is it. All you got to do from here is refill the coolant. But I actually ended up running into an unexpected issue, and I ran into a broken coolant cap. It's an issue with these that can happen, and there are different ways to get it off, but you can just enjoy some of my footage of fighting with this and some of the methods that I use to get it off, which really doesn't matter how you get it off as long as you can get it off without any of the pieces falling into the coolant reservoir.
I really don't know what happened. What the heck is this? You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me here. Very well.
And that is it. You are done. The only thing left to do is to start it up, check for leaks, and take it for a test drive. If this video helped you out, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this and more videos on this vehicle. And don't forget, if you're looking for high quality, genuine auto parts, make sure to check out aeroparts.com.